Hey guys, this is question MM108 of the Maths Methods Fortify study guide. We've got a question here that talks about a function f which has two properties. So we've got f of pi plus x equals negative f of negative x, and f of pi plus x equals negative f of x. Now, this can be quite confusing if you haven't seen a question like this before, but let's just break it down. So, keeping in mind that x is a angle, okay? So when we're dealing with f of pi plus x, we've got this angle pi here, which is our 180 degrees, plus x, okay? So let's just deal with this first property first. So we've got f of pi plus x, which means that at pi plus x, this point here, our value here is the negative version of f of negative x, okay? So f of negative x means that we start at 0 and go negative x down this way, which means that f of negative x is at this point here. Our f of pi plus x, this point here, is negative of this, okay? Which means that our sign in this quadrant is opposite to this quadrant, okay? So our sign in quadrant 3 is opposite to quadrant 4. I'll explain this as we kind of get to the end. I know this might be a bit confusing for you, but just bear with me. That's our first property taken care of. We've got our second property, which is f of pi plus x, so this same point here, equals negative f of x. So f of x lies up here because our x is a positive angle, and this is x as well, which means that our point here is the opposite sign, because of this negative, the opposite sign of this point here. Now, we basically have to go through cos, sine, and tan and work out which ones are opposite in which quadrants, okay? So let's start with sine. So sine of pi plus x is here, which is, sine is this bit here. Sine of pi plus x is negative in these two quadrants, right? Because sine is positive in 1 and 2. If sine is negative in these two, that means that these 2 points are the same, which means that this is not true, right? Because the sign in quadrant 3 and quadrant 4 have to be different. So if they're the same with sine, that means that they can't be sine, okay? So sine is not one of our answers, which means that A and E are not correct. Cos is positive in quadrant 1 and 4, which means that these 2 points here will give us a positive cos value. Both of these points here are the opposite sign to this point over here because of these 2 negative signs here, which means that cos is negative here and positive here, which means that they are opposite to this point, which means that it is a cos function, and B is our only possible cos function, which means that our answer is B. If you have any questions about this, I know this is really confusing. If you have any questions, please comment below. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I hope this made sense for you. Thanks.